That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Now at 7, human remains found in Washington believed to be Travis Decker, the father accused of killing his 3 young daughters. What we know so far up in our top story plus.
Yeah, I feel horrible for you. I really wish there was more that I could do for you.
Save your pity for the weak.
Stop.
Save your pity for the weak.
Michael Bivens, a former Portland journalist, sentenced to years behind bars after vandalizing several places of worship and black-owned businesses. And they call it the seasonal shift when summer turns to fall and you find you're sad and sneezing all the time. We're going to tell you how to tackle seasonal allergies and avoid the fall blues. Sunrise streaming live at 7 starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green. And I'm Corey Johnson in for Drew Carney today. Chris McGinnis is standing by for a look at your weather and traffic.
And we have a live sunrise on the Sunrise Show. How about that? Perfect timing here as we take the live camera here from our Wells Fargo sky camera. Sun coming up over the Cascades. Official sunrise a couple of minutes ago. It just takes it a couple of extra minutes to actually get up over the Cascades. But boy, that is pretty this morning. It's clear. And at last check, it's 55 degrees now at PDX. Elsewhere, 46, one of the cooler spots in the local area up at Battleground. Camas checking in with 49, same story in Gresham. Hillsborough also at 49. As we slide down to the South Dallas, good morning to you folks in Polk County, 47, 54 Albany, and 54 in Salem. All right, the plan for today, take whatever you saw in your backyard thermometer and tack on a few degrees. I think that's what we're looking at. I've got us in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees at lunchtime. Portland hit 78 yesterday. I've got us topping out at 83 today with plenty of sunshine. So a good look a day today. We are still tracking a window of some rain in our weekend forecast. I'll narrow that down for you and let you know when, where, how much coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a traffic alert on the Banfield. That is Interstate 84 eastbound near 82nd Avenue. It looks like the left and the center lanes are still blocked with this crash as traffic is quickly stacking up around that. So give yourself a few extra minutes. In fact, guys, that lineup now extends well past Providence Medical Center here. We'll zoom in real quick and you can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. So you might want to skip that, take Gleason over to 205, but that eastbound 84 commute really starting to bunch up. We'll keep you posted.
Our top story here at 7 o'clock. Authorities believe that they have found the body of Travis Decker, the Washington man accused of killing his 3 young daughters. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says human remains were found in a remote wooded area south of Leavenworth. That's where the search for Decker had been centered for months. Decker was charged with 3 counts of murder and kidnapping for the deaths of his daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. He'd been on the run since June after he failed to return the girls to their mother following a scheduled visitation. Their bodies were later found near Decker's abandoned truck about 17 miles west of Leavenworth. The coroner will now have to officially identify the remains. In Columbia County, a wrestling coach has been arrested on child sex abuse charges. 24-year-old David Rubio, who was a state champion wrestler, is accused of luring a minor and trying to get them to send him sexually explicit photos. Police say Rubio met the victim at a wrestling clinic where he coached. Now, because of his access to other young athletes, police say they're concerned he may have other victims. If you have information about Rubio, you're asked to call Scappoose Police.
Yeah, I feel horrible for you. I really wish there was more that I could do for you.
Save your pity for the weak.
Stop.
Save your pity for the weak.
That is former journalist Michael Bivens, who appeared in court yesterday afternoon, where he was sentenced to 5 years in prison after a jury found him guilty of a string of hate crimes.
Bivens was convicted on 11 counts, including arson, criminal mischief, and bias crime. And police say he spray painted anti-Semitism stuff with graffiti on Northwest Portland Synagogue, threw a rock through a window the next day, and was linked to more vandalism at another synagogue. He was also tied to a fire at the Muslim Community Center and damaged at Black-owned business. Yesterday, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison and 5 years probation.
It should be a very clear message that this office takes hate crimes such as this very serious.
Investigators say that he targeted victims based on race and religion.
Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley has introduced a resolution calling for the U.S. to recognize a Palestinian state. The resolution also advocates for Hamas to release hostages and lay down its weapons and urges Israel to end the war in Gaza. Merkley said recognizing a Palestinian state is, quote, the right thing to do, adding it's also necessary for peace.
ICE is responding to the city of Portland issuing land use violation against their facility on the south waterfront. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson says as recently as May, ICE had been holding people longer than 12 hours, which is against the conditions of the permit. A Homeland Security spokesperson said that they have taken action, including increasing staff to ensure detainees are not held for more than 12 hours at the Portland site before being moved elsewhere. They went on to say, quote, another day, another sanctuary politician attempting to prevent the brave men and women of ICE from removing the worst of the worst, including rapists, murderers, pedophiles, and gang members from the U.S.
Washington Senator Maria Cantwell is calling on the U.S. Supreme Court to halt President Donald Trump's tariffs. At a news conference, she claimed the president's tariffs will force small businesses to lose jobs and money, adding that only Congress has the power to implement tariffs, not the president.
So we need the Supreme Court to also weigh in and think about the livelihoods of these businesses that are before us today, the impact on America's economy. They can't absorb this tax. You can't run a business with this level of disruption or uncertainty.
Now, last week, the Supreme Court announced it would hear arguments on whether President Trump's tariffs are constitutional.
For decades, Chinook Nation near Astoria has pushed for a federal recognition, which they say can lead to federal grants and more opportunities for tribal members. And now they're asking federal lawmakers for help. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now from the newsroom. So, Thomas, walk us through what's happening here.
Well, China leaders of Chinook Nation tell me that for decades, the nation's been left out of opportunities granted to federally recognized tribes. And these are things like federal grants that are a big boon for economic development that can expand energy capabilities and even preserve native languages. There are also housing programs to help tribal members who are homeless or have substandard living conditions. But again, that help is only available to members of federally recognized tribes. Chinook is not federally recognized, though at one point it was. Going all the way back to 2001, the Clinton administration actually granted Chinook federal recognition. Though a year later, once George Bush became president, the ruling was reversed, with the federal government concluding Chinook did not meet all the criteria to be recognized as a federal tribe.
One of the hardest things about being in the elected role that I am in currently is the telephone calls that you get from members who have a need that you could resolve or assist in a really different way if Chinook had its federal acknowledgement clarified.
So that bureaucracy can kind of be a big deal, as Tony Johnson, the leader of Chinook Nation, highlighted there. He's also been pushing Washington and Oregon delegates for quite some time to have a bill in place that grants Chinook federal recognition. We reached out to delegates all across Oregon. Senator Ron Wyden's office got back to us and said that Wyden is working on a proposal that would have vast support in Washington in support of Chinook's federal recognition. Guys?
All right, Thomas, thank you. We'll take a look at this new art exhibit at Portland State titled Storywork. It celebrates contemporary Native American art and features the work of acclaimed Portland-based artist Marie Watt. Now, those pieces include prints, textiles, and sculptures. We heard from Watt of the Seneca Nation, who says a lot of her inspiration came from the profound stories behind everyday objects.
I was working with a friend, and he was like, "Oh, that blanket reminds me of my grandmother," and he kind of started going into story, and I quickly realized that blankets are markers for memory and story, and in a way we're received in blankets, and we depart this world in a blanket.
Work runs through early December at PSU's Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. All right, your time now is 7:09 on your Friday. What are we looking like weather-wise, Chris?
It's gorgeous out there this morning. Yeah, this is pretty. This is from the Springs at the waterfront. Our newest camera here, checking out Mount Hood from Vancouver. You can see a little bit of broken cloud cover kind of near some of the higher terrain as you enter the Columbia River Gorge. And the silhouette there of Oregon's tallest peak in the background, that's just beautiful. 54 now at Pearson Airfield. It's 54 also in Salem. We've got that cotton candy colored sky out there this morning with the sun coming up over Marion County. Meanwhile, a little fog sort of obscuring Cascade Head off in the distance here from Lincoln City. It's 44 there, so chilly along the coast. The fog will lift and we should see some sunshine there eventually this afternoon. Pacific City gets to about 67, Astoria 69. Taking you out into the gorge, toasty day for the East Gorge with a bit of a west breeze. The Dow's getting up to about 91. And then up and down the I-5 corridor, the trend for most of us today will be a little warmer than yesterday. So like Vancouver got to 79 yesterday, I've got Vancouver at 83. Salem got to 78 yesterday. I've got you at 83 degrees this afternoon as well. Corvallis topping out at 84. Portland, 83 with sunshine this afternoon. Brief morning clouds tomorrow, otherwise a good-looking Saturday forecast. So the final weekend of summer, yes, fall arrives on Monday. The final weekend of summer looks pretty good. We do have rain in the forecast Sunday morning. Before you cancel your plans, this is a fast-moving system, so we could get a quick shot of rain for about 2-3 hours, and then that system is out of here Sunday afternoon. I'll walk you through that in more detail coming up with Futurecast in about 10 minutes. Okay, let's get you out the door. We have a traffic alert on the Banfield, and just like that, it has cleared to the shoulder. Eastbound I-84, a wreck near 82nd Avenue, now out of the way. No word on any injuries, but the eastbound backup remains. We'll track it for you here. You can see that I-84 eastbound right now is pretty stacked up back to about Providence Medical Center. So about a 2.5-mile backup on eastbound I-84 right now. Now that they've got that lane open, or all 3 lanes open, hopefully that will flush out pretty quickly. But if you're about to hop on the roads right now, the drive's a little busy on that side of town. Elsewhere, we're in pretty good shape. No other major freeway trouble just yet on this Friday morning. Ladies?
Thank you, Chris. Fall is almost here, and with this new season comes things like seasonal depression and allergies. And coming up, we're going to tell you what you can do to fight the fall blues. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
This story makes so much sense because yesterday I just felt so depressed and had so much anxiety. Monday is the first day of fall, so you might already be feeling that season shift from summer to fall, and not just in the weather, but in your mood as well.
I'm definitely feeling that shift a little bit. Monday's coming, and I'm like, what is this in the air? Health experts say seasonal depression affects about 5% of Americans each year, or about 17 million people. Now, Carmen Brown set out to verify what's behind those fall blues and what you can do to keep your spirits up as the days get shorter.
As the leaves start to turn and daylight will begin to fade earlier, many people notice more than just the change in weather.
Every September 21st, December 22nd, every 3 months or so when we change seasons, you can see some of us and our families get more up and down based on some of that.
Also known as the fall blues, the seasonal shift can bring feelings of sadness, low energy, and trouble concentrating. So we set out to verify, are the fall blues real? Our sources, the National Institutes of Health, the Mayo Clinic, and Dr. Lance Slade with Primary Pediatrics. The National Institutes of Health explain these symptoms as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, affecting millions each year. Experts say women are more likely to experience it than men. The drop in sunlight during fall triggers changes in the body's internal clock or circadian rhythm, which can disrupt sleep and mood. The Mayo Clinic outlines how to recognize the signs of fall blues versus more serious depression. Common symptoms include losing interest in activities, oversleeping, appetite changes, and low energy. If left unaddressed, they say fall blues can intensify with daily life. But there are ways to fight back.
30 to 40 minutes of exercise a day has been shown to be like 12 hours of Prozac and 12 hours of Ritalin. You feel better about yourself and you focus better. So you can find the better parts of that.
Health experts also recommend keeping a steady sleep routine to help rest the internal clock. So we can verify, yes, the fall blues are real. With your Verify, I'm Carmen Brown.
And another way you may be experiencing the shift from summer to fall is season allergies. Nearly 1 in 3 adults in the U.S. report having a seasonal allergy. As the leaves change color, allergens, pollutant, and they continue to be in the air for the first hard frost. So to stop the exposure, experts are recommending that you change clothes after being outdoors, shower to get pollen off your skin and out of your hair, keep windows shut as much as possible, especially bedroom windows, avoid going outside in peak pollen times from late morning to mid-afternoon, and make sure to clean the vents in your home and change those air filters.
These are all things that not only are great for your home, but can get rid of the different allergens that have kind of accumulated there throughout the year.
And if you're already feeling those fall allergy symptoms, experts say over-the-counter and prescriptions, nasal sprays can help. So the big dark is what they call it here, right?
I've actually never heard it referred to that, but that,
Really?
I mean, that makes sense though, because we go from like 15 hours of daylight in June, 15 and a half to like a little over 8. In December, so that's a little rough.
So you just moved here. If you do feel sad, go to your doctor. I went to the doctor and I was like, I don't feel right. I just can't get out of bed. He was like, it's the seasonal depression.
I've also been trying to tweak my surroundings, like bright colors here and there with little stuff that I buy, new home decor, just making the brightness artificially, if possible.
But then you could also go outside, just roll around in the leaves like the kids do, because that's lots of fun.
Sure, Chris.
That's fun. All right, let's get you out the door. Let's talk about what's coming our way here for the next couple of days. Sunny, warmer today. Yesterday we were 78. Today we're going for the lower 80s. Tomorrow looks beautiful as well for the final weekend of summer. We do have rain in our Sunday forecast, and we promised we would fine-tune things to get you an idea of when, where, how much. So let's show you what's going on. Here's our next weather maker. It's out over the North Pacific, and it actually looks more impressive on satellite this morning than it did yesterday. So let's track it for you with Futurecast. All right, this is today. Our model at 4 o'clock, near 4 o'clock, not much going on. I mean, it's just a beautiful day today. Overnight tonight, we probably get a little marine push, so we may wake up to some clouds in Clark County, Cowlitz County, and through the nooks and crannies in the Coast Range as well. Those will burn off. So if you're going to the beach this weekend, tomorrow actually looks nice. Tomorrow night, that system is making swift progress here across the North Pacific. So it's knocking on the door at midnight along the Oregon coast. It moves inland in the wee hours of Sunday morning. So we're probably seeing rain before most folks even wake up on Sunday morning here in Portland and Vancouver. As fast as that system moves in, it's already on its way out, probably while most folks are still asleep or, having your first cup of coffee here. So with that in mind, Sunday afternoon actually doesn't look all that bad. So a quick shot of rain. Our modeling, as we zoom in a little bit, suggests upwards of 0.4 of an inch of rain here in Portland. That's more than what it looked like yesterday, but the trend is still more to the north, less to the south. In any event, we could certainly use some rain at this point, as we're 2/3 of the way through the month of September, and we're a little light in the rain gauge. We've only picked up about 2/3 of an inch of rain thus far. So we'll take the rain, and you know what? We'll take the sunshine when it returns on Sunday afternoon. We've got sun out there right now, the live look from downtown Portland, and our Wells Fargo sky camera showing 55 degrees at PDX. As mentioned, we are on our way to a warmer daytime high today. I've got us at about 83 here in Portland, 82 or 83 in Salem as well. Vancouver in the low 80s. Longview gets to just shy of 80, and hopping out into the gorge. The East Gorge will be one of the warmer spots in the state. I've got the Dows getting up to about 90 or 91 this afternoon. Okay, there's the 7-day forecast. Good looking day today and tomorrow. And then again, we've got that quick shot of rain coming in here early Sunday, but it should be out of here mid to late morning, meaning a clearing sky for Sunday afternoon. And then fall, of course, officially arrives on Monday morning around 11:19 if you're keeping track. Looks like a nice day. First couple days of fall actually looks sunny and quite warm, with highs in the mid-80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, let's get you out the door. We pick it up on the east side. That earlier traffic alert on the Banfield looks like it's been cleared to the shoulder. That's Interstate 84 at 82nd Avenue. The headlights on the left-hand side of your screen, that's the eastbound drive. That's a little slow. It's the westbound commute, or excuse me, the eastbound commute here is the drive that's been impacted by this earlier crash. Traffic still looks like it's a little slow as we take you back towards Providence Medical Center. Yeah, the eastbound drive still needs a little help. But outside of that, the rest of the freeway commute this morning is in pretty good shape.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Well, President Donald Trump is at the White House this morning after spending 2 days in the United Kingdom. Today, he's expected to have a key call with the Chinese president on trade, as well as the future of the popular social media app TikTok. NBC's Alice Barr brings us the latest from London. President Trump is back in Washington, leaving behind his royal reception in the UK and diving into domestic debate. On Air Force One, suggesting broadcast networks he says are against him could lose their licenses.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It would be up to Brendan Clark.
A reference there to the FCC chairman who criticized ABC late-night host Jimmy Kimmel and hinted at potential action shortly before the network indefinitely pulled the show off air over these comments.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The issue stirring free speech questions at a press conference alongside UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, himself facing criticism from some on the right.
We need free speech in UK because we've not had it for a long time.
While Trump protesters we spoke to accused him of silencing critics.
If he doesn't like somebody, he gets rid of them.
The president and prime minister also pressed on the intensifying war in Gaza, with the UK preparing to officially recognize a Palestinian state.
I have a disagreement with the prime minister on that score.
While Starmer nudged the president to ramp up pressure on Russian President Putin to end the assault on Ukraine. President Trump turning today to a call with China's President Xi Jinping, looking to close a TikTok deal to keep the popular app available to millions of American users.
And here's a look at your morning rush. Both chambers of Congress are expected to take up funding bills today. They're aimed at avoiding a government shutdown September 30th. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans in his chamber have enough votes to greenlight their GOP plan. Meanwhile, the Senate is set to vote on bills from both parties today, but neither seems able to pass. The CDC's advisory committee has voted to tweak recommendations for the MMR-V vaccine, which protects against measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox. Now, the new guidance suggests the vaccine shouldn't be recommended for children under the age of 4 due to the small risk for seizures in that age group. And big changes are coming to college football transfers. The NCAA is eliminating the spring portal, leaving just one window for players to switch schools. Now, that window will open in January with final dates set for the next month. Coaches push for the move, saying it brings more stability, but critics worry a January start could affect teams still in the playoffs. And that's your morning rush. Well, coming up in our next half hour, students in Springfield, Oregon walking out of class over a teacher's controversial posts on social media regarding the murder of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Plus,
he took the best brother I've ever had from me.
A sister speaking out after her brother and his son were hit by an impaired driver while walking home from the bus stop. What police are saying about the incident. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues right after this.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Friday morning drive, and we start with a traffic alert on the east side. An earlier crash on eastbound I-84 near 82nd Avenue has been cleared to the right shoulder. However, the eastbound drive is really stacked up here, so this is going to take some extra time for you to get eastbound from Providence Medical Center out towards I-205. Outside of that, the rest of the drive is in pretty good shape. Sunset inbound less than 18 minutes from Hillsborough, so that looks good. And the I-5 and the I-205 drive from Clark County, not bad at all. With sunshine out there this morning, the live look from our Wells Fargo sky camera showing that 55 degrees last check at PDX, waking up to temperatures in the 40s right now on Camas and Battleground. Battleground slipped to 45 at last check. Beaverton right now 55, and down to the south, Salem sitting at 54 degrees. Okay, the plan for today, it's just a little bit of patchy morning cloud cover for some of us. Otherwise, full sunshine and warmer today. So Portland hit 78 yesterday. Today we're going to tack on a good 4 or 5 degrees. I've got us topping out at 83. Tomorrow looks nice. We do have a quick shot of rain early Sunday morning.
Good morning. We are taking a live look right now from our Timberline sky cam. Things are looking pretty out there. The sun's up. You can see the top of the trees right there. And it's a little hazy out there. It did smell like smoke yesterday in my neck of the woods. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a fire, a pretty good fire. I think it's the Bear Gulch fire that's burning in the Olympic Peninsula. And the prevailing wind yesterday was out of the north, so it just kind of wafted that wildfire smoke down in our direction. We'll probably see some of that haze out there today. I don't know that we'll, it's almost you can taste it.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't know that it'll be that bad today. Air quality is actually not too bad out there this morning, but some of that haze in the air giving us a colorful sunrise this morning. It's bright, it's sunny, it's 55 last check at PDX. Elsewhere across the region, the cool spot on this map, Battleground, you've warmed up to 46 at last report. It's 50 in Tigard, Wilsonville, good morning to you folks, 52, and Salem this morning at last check sitting at 54 degrees. All right, the plan for today, Friday, mostly sunny this morning. We'll go with full sunshine, maybe a little bit of wildfire haze out there, but otherwise a good looking day today. And temperatures today will be warmer than yesterday. Yesterday, PDX hit 78. Today, I've got us topping out at about 83 degrees. We'll keep the sunny, warm weather into Saturday. There is rain in our Sunday forecast, though, and it looks like it's a pretty narrow window of rain. So I'll walk you through the when, where, how much with Futurecast in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a look at the drive times. I-5 and I-205 from Clark County, not bad. Sometimes we like to say Friday light, as in lighter traffic than the Monday through Thursday commute. And for the most part, that's holding true to form this morning, but I do have one trouble spot. It's on the east side. We had an earlier crash on I-84 out near 82nd Avenue. That was eastbound. Traffic is still a little backed up as a result of that. In fact, you can still see emergency responders there on the shoulder. Again, that's eastbound I-84. So if that's your travel direction this morning, give yourself a couple of extra minutes. But otherwise, China, we're off to a pretty good start.
Thank you, Chris. Students in Springfield, Oregon walked out of class on Wednesday after one of their teachers made a post on social media about the murder of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. And as Cameron Salinas reports, the controversy has raised questions about how the district handles certain types of speech.
Students left class Wednesday morning to protest a Facebook comment by drama teacher Bobby Nove, who wrote good in response to the murder of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. Many say what Nove posted crosses a line.
That ideology and just believing that murder is okay is not okay. We strongly believe that we need to stand up against it. There's no place for that here.
Students also point to the 1998 Thurston High shooting when a student killed 2 classmates and wounded 25 others as a reason careless words from educators feel especially painful.
If he's okay with this murder, it goes to it brings up the question, what other ones is he okay with?
Parents who supervised the student protests say they believe administrators have not taken their concerns seriously.
To be respectful, they were given a word salad. They were told to refer to the contract that the teachers protected in the morality terms of what's happening, just for the kids to be safe.
District leaders acknowledge the controversy has generated strong reactions, but say their response is guided by policy and federal law.
We've consistently shared that is not something that we agree with. When it comes to personnel matters, there are some things that we can share and many things that we cannot share. Those are values that we do not hold. They did not reflect values of the district or of Thurston High School.
By the way, that teacher who made that comment is still currently employed by the school.
Firearm-related incidents are increasing across the whole city. They're increasing across age groups. And this isn't something that is catching us off guard, not as a city and not as a school district.
The Salem-Keizer School District says that's why it's expanding metal detectors from high schools to middle schools. The system scans everyone entering with staff checking bags if an alert goes off. It also monitors doors and uses window film to add security. And while some don't agree with the school's approach, Deputy Superintendent Danielle Neves says that she also has a Salem-Keizer middle schooler and is on the board with the detectors.
Another layer of knowing that the school district is taking care of my students, of the teachers in their building, so that they can focus on learning.
The $1.2 million project will begin installation in October and be complete by April. Well, in East Multnomah County, the Reynolds School District is negotiating with its teachers to institute furlough days. The teachers union rejected a tentative agreement that would have implemented 10 furlough days. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in the studio this morning. So Thomas, what are union leaders saying about this?
Well, guys, union leaders tell me 10 furlough days would have knocked their pay by 5%. This already comes after the Reynolds School District slashed the budget by 20% a few months ago back in May, adding up to $25 million in cuts. Already, more than 100 educators have been laid off. Even after the cuts, union leaders say district officials told them furloughs were still needed because they still had a $5.5 million deficit. Since then, the two sides have bargained over what that means for staff, specifically teachers. Negotiations were expected to continue last night, but they never happened. Union leaders say bargaining comes after the district already awarded tens of thousands of dollars in raises to two administrators, and now educators want more clarity over the budget.
In order to move forward, there's going to have to be a lot more transparency on how they get to a $5.5 million deficit, where they get those numbers.
So still a lot of questions, right? We reached out to the district for comment, but never heard back. Fuller says administrators told the union if furloughs do not happen, there will be dozens more teacher positions cut, so clearly still a lot to come from the Reynolds School District.
Thank you, Thomas. An Oregon Air National Guard jet was forced to make an emergency landing at PDX after the pilot reported a landing gear problem. That means that they had to use the fighter jet's tail hook to catch the emergency cable on the runway to stop. The jet was returning from a training flight over the Pacific. No one was hurt. Since yesterday, the University of Portland has been holding a 24-hour ceremony to honor the nation's prisoners of war and the service members missing in action. Members of the university's Air Force and Army ROTC programs will stand watch, praying hands memorial until 11:30 this morning. We talked to one of the organizers who told us that it took months of work and that they are proud of what they put together.
There's a lot of people out there who made a huge sacrifice, and I'm about to join a service where there's a lot of honor in it, and there's a lot of people who suffered, and so I want to be able to make their sacrifice worth it.
The vigil wraps with a wreath laying around the world from retired Air Force Colonel Mike Burton, who served 38 years in the military and 5 terms in the Oregon legislature.
Okay, take a look at this next story. So you may not like rats, but trainers at the Oregon Zoo say some of them are getting a bad rap. So meet Capri and Sun, adorable names right there. They're East African savanna pouched rats. Their sense of smell is so strong they can sniff out and uncover objects just like dogs.
In fact, these animals have been trained to detect the TNT in landmines. And a group called Apopo works with the rats in Africa. They say these rats are perfect for the job because they learn very, very quickly, but they're also very light, so they don't set off the mines. Capri and Son won't be going out into the field, though. They'll stay at the Oregon Zoo, where they can teach visitors about what they can do and maybe change the perception of rats.
It's really special, really fun, and I love watching their reactions. And, you know, everybody like walks away smiling, so that's great.
That definitely is great. And by the way, in 2008, according to a study, pouched rats proved that they could accurately detect tuberculosis in lab samples much faster than humans. Your time now is 7:38. We are headed over to Chris McInnes for a look at weather.
Let's take you down to our state capital, Salem. Right now, bright sunshine, a little bit of haze off in the distance, but otherwise mostly clear this morning as opposed to yesterday in the in the Willamette Valley. I'll get it out one of these mornings. 54 last check there. Yesterday morning, I was trying to say we were pretty well socked in with a marine layer, but not the case today. 55 over downtown Portland. The sun is so bright it is obscuring the silhouette there of Mount Hood that we had so prominently shown earlier today. It's a little foggy along the coast. This is the live look from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. 43 degrees there. The fog and the low cloudiness will lift at the beach. You should have a nice looking day today and tomorrow for that matter, with highs in the upper 60s. If you're going to the beach this weekend, maybe some rain Sunday morning early. Otherwise, a good looking weekend there, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. The Gorge, warm to hot, 91 degrees out towards the Dalles, and across southwest in northwest Oregon, the trend for all of us here is a little warmer than yesterday. So Vancouver hit 79 yesterday. Today we're forecasting 83. Longview should be in the 80s. Salem yesterday was 78. Today I've got you at 83 degrees. So everybody 2 to 5 degrees warmer this afternoon compared to yesterday. Same story here in Portland with a light north breeze. That light north breeze, by the way, may continue to filter some of that wildfire smoke and haze from the Olympic Peninsula back down into our sky this afternoon. I don't anticipate it being as thick as yesterday, but just be on the lookout for that. If you smell and taste it, that's where it's coming from. Okay, tomorrow, maybe some brief morning clouds, otherwise a good-looking day for Saturday, and then Sunday's the day that the rain moves in. It looks like a brief window, maybe 2-3 hours of rain. I'll track that for you in more detail, let you know when, where, how much coming up in just a few minutes with Futurecast. All right, let's get you out the door. Live look at the roads. We start off with drive times. Highway 26 in from Hillsborough. Not bad, but riding the brakes a little bit as you roll in past Sylvan. Right now, that's a 20-minute commute. There's a look at the eastbound I-84 commute. So Providence Center is over on the left-hand side of your screen. The drivers are combating the eastbound commuter, combating the sunrise and an earlier crash out near 82nd Avenue. So the crash is clear, but the eastbound drive is taking a few extra minutes to flush out. No other major issues out there this morning. Ladies?
Thanks, Chris. And now to an update on the Vancouver father and son who were hit by an impaired driver while walking home from a bus stop. Vancouver police have redacted their statement that the boy was killed in the crash. He remains in critical condition. However, his father has died. Devin Haskins has more after speaking with the victim's family.
He was such a great dad.
Standing outside her parents' Vancouver home, Natalie Quevedo Sanchez holds 3 photos. All 3 show the love of a father and his son.
He would do everything with Joshua. His day off, it was for Joshua.
Joshua is 6 years old.
He is the silliest kid ever.
And because school was delayed due to the educators' strike, she said Joshua just finished his 3rd day of 1st grade.
He said he loved his teacher.
He's now in critical condition at Randall's Children's Hospital.
He's hooked up to a lot of machines, but he's still there. And he's strong. He's so strong.
Joshua and his dad, Jose, were hit by a truck as they were walking home down Northeast 137th after Joshua had gotten off the school bus. 137th is under construction without any sidewalks, and the 2 were walking in the road.
Just right down the block. My parents were home, but they didn't hear any of the ambulances or anything until someone came and got them.
Vancouver police say 73-year-old James Paulson was agitated and under the influence of marijuana when he drove around construction traffic, hitting and killing Jose and critically injuring 6-year-old Joshua. Police said Paulson's truck dragged Jose Quevedo Sanchez nearly 100 feet.
We got to say our goodbyes to him, and I let him know that everything that I'll do for the rest of my life will be for him and for Joshua. He took the best brother I've ever had.
for me.
A brother she adored.
I don't know what life is going to look like, but I know that it won't be the same.
Devin Haskins, KGW News.
This morning, we're hearing from one of the survivors of a fire that destroyed an Low apartment complex. Heather Fenner tells us that she was lucky to escape with her son, especially because that she's deaf and couldn't hear the alarm. Fenner was asleep on her couch Wednesday morning when she says that she woke up to the smell of smoke and opened her eyes to the sight of flames. Fenner says she lost everything, including special devices that help her communicate.
I saw the smoke in the morning when I woke up from my couch. She's right there. It's gone. Everything burned down. I feel very lost.
The fire displaced 17 people. Fenner is staying in a hotel. Authorities say the fire was likely caused by improperly discarded smoking materials. And still to come on Sunrise, Nvidia investing $5 billion into Intel. We'll tell you why, plus more on your consumer headlines when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Well, Intel's shares jumped more than 20% yesterday after news that the company is receiving a $5 billion investment from Nvidia. The two companies plan to jointly develop both AI infrastructure and computing products. Now, this comes after Intel slashed thousands of jobs at its Oregon campuses, and the U.S. government took a 10% stake. Now, despite the new cash, Mike Rogaway, a business writer for the Oregonian, points out Intel still has an uphill climb.
They have to prove that their factories can deliver advanced chips on time, and that they can be attractive to other companies that need, companies like Nvidia, that need places to make their chips.
Now, the move, which is subject to regulatory approvals, will make Nvidia one of Intel's largest shareholders. Intel CEO called it a, quote, game-changing opportunity. Now for a look at your consumer headlines. Hyundai is recalling more than 500,000 Palisade SUVs from 2020 through 2025. The company says some seatbelt buckles may fail to latch. More than 500 reports have been filed, but no crashes or injuries. Owners are urged to double-check their belts until dealers can inspect and replace them for free. The Federal Trade Commission is suing Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation Entertainment over what it's calling illegal ticket resale tactics. The suit alleges the company allowed scalpers to unlawfully purchase tickets to increase their profits. It also alleges that they allowed brokers to exceed ticket limits and violates the Better Online Ticket Sales Act. The U.S. Postal Service has announced its 2025 mailing dates for customers not in Alaska and Hawaii. Cards and gifts should be sent by December 17th for Ground Advantage and First Class Mail. For Priority Mail, it's December 18th, and Priority Mail Express, it's December 20th, so be sure to get those letters into Santa on time. All right, your time now is 7:47. We are taking a look now at weather with Chris McGinnis. So it seems like today is on track to be a beautiful day.
You've been listening.
I have been listening.
Thank you. And tomorrow
Hello?
too. And most of next week, we do have some rain in our weekend forecast. So I promised we would dial in on that just a little bit. So let's do that. Today, gorgeous and a little warmer than yesterday. Tomorrow should be really nice with some patchy morning clouds. Rain Sunday. So what's the deal with that? Well, now that we're getting closer, models are doing our high resolution models are getting a better handle on this. So here's the storm system that's going to bring the rain very late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and it is chugging across the North Pacific. It also looks more impressive on the satellite today than it did yesterday, meaning, and I think that's why I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. All right, here's Futurecast. Today, we're high and dry. We've got a really good looking day for Friday, right? Mostly sunny. Tomorrow, in response to the warmer temperatures today, we'll probably draw in that marine influence a little bit. So, through the mouth of the Columbia, up through Cowlitz, maybe northern Clark County, we'll see some cloud cover. Wouldn't be out of the question to see some here in the metro area as well, through the nooks and crannies in the Coast Range, and certainly at the beach, some clouds in the morning. Tomorrow itself, though, looks really nice. You do see, though, that as I stop the clock pretty close to midnight on Saturday, there's that storm system, and it's moving. It's moving in quick. So it hits the coast around midnight. It hits the valley sometime between about 4 and 6, if the timing works out just right here on Sunday morning. And then as fast as it moves in, it moves out, meaning our Sunday afternoon may actually wind up being pretty decent. Okay, the rainfall totals are actually a little more impressive than they were yesterday. So that's what I was going at when I was talking about the satellite. It just looks like it's got a little bit more moisture in it than it did yesterday. The trend is still more rain to the north, less to the south. Generally on the order of about 0.2 of an inch of rain seems like a good general, if I were to paint a paintbrush here across the region, I think that's kind of what we're looking at. And we'll take the soaking. We could use it. September so far, we're 2/3 of the way through the month, and we're less than half of our normal September rainfall. So we could use a little rain, and I think we'll get some tomorrow. Sunday. But beyond that, the 7-day forecast actually remains mostly dry. All right, a Wells Fargo sky camera showing bright sunshine out there this morning. It's 55 degrees last check at PDX. As mentioned, today will be warmer than yesterday. Portland hit 78. Salem hit 78. Vancouver hit 79. I think all of those cities will be in the low 80s this afternoon, and the Dow's probably getting up and over the 90-degree mark later today as well. Brief morning clouds tomorrow, otherwise a good-looking Saturday. Sunday, the bark worse than the bite here. I think we're talking rain in the morning, moving out pretty quickly with afternoon sunshine, and then a mostly sunny first week of fall. Fall arrives on Monday, and the forecast still looks really, really nice. Okay, let's get you out the door. Quick look at the roads out near Providence Medical Center, the Banfield, Interstate 84. The eastbound commute is running a little slow because of an earlier crash out near 82nd Avenue. The crash is out of the way, but the eastbound drive is still a little slow. The westbound drive, 20 minutes to get you in from Troutdale. The trip in from Hillsborough is up a little bit on the Sunset, about 24 minutes at last report. And here's what it looks like in North Portland, up near the Expo Center. I-5 from Clark County, at last check, about 15 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Corey?
All right, Chris, thank you.
At what point do we go, nope, this is not okay?
Residents in North Portland planning to move over what they call ongoing issues with a homeless shelter in the area. But the mayor's office paints a bit of a different picture. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and we hope you've been joining us for The Story each weeknight at 6:30. If you've got a story idea of your own, email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Well, some neighbors in North Portland say they're planning to move amid ongoing issues around a homeless shelter in the area. Blair Best brings us the details.
We're talking about the Moore Street shelter here off North Killingsworth Street. It's run by the Salvation Army. Back in January, the city told them to reopen this overnight shelter, all part of the mayor's plan to end unsheltered homelessness by December 1st. Since it reopened, neighbors say there has been increased vandalism and people camping on the streets. The shelter is open from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. A sign outside says drug use, disturbance of neighborhood businesses and homes, or camping in the area will result in exclusion from the shelter. This week, Portland police responded to 4 nearby cars that had their windows smashed. Mayor Keith Wilson's office tells us police now have a person in custody. They say the person broke the car windows after choosing to exit the Moore Street shelter. The mayor's office adds, after 9 months of successful operations, this vandalism is by far the worst event connected to the shelter. Moore Street Shelter has provided over 23,500 nights of safe, dignified sleep to our city's most vulnerable, contributing to a decrease in crime in the area compared to the 6 months prior to opening. However, neighbors see it differently.
Once the shelter opened, everything completely changed. It's really reduced our livability, the safety of the neighborhood.
I feel like the city cares more about these people who do drugs, who abuse themselves, who don't care about themselves or their society, and they don't care for tax-paying citizens. At what point do we go, nope, this is not okay?
Now, those 2 women tell me because of their concerns with this shelter, they're now looking to sell their homes and leave the city. In North Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Coming up at 8, the new developments this morning on the search for the Washington man accused of killing his 3 young daughters near Leavenworth. Plus,
they give me only bad publicity from the press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
President Donald Trump taking aim at the media. Why it's sparking new concerns about freedom of the press ahead at 8 o'clock.